Hello, Charlotte. How you doing?
Hi Adam, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, well, good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. So, what we're going to be doing is just talking about your somewhat recent experience within NHS physio and also private physio. And then at
Yeah.
the end, we're also going to take a couple of questions from our listeners that they have for you. Is that okay?
Okay. Perfect.
Perfect. Cool. So, I'll pass it over to you really to start with, and just let us know what started your journey within physiotherapy.
I fell over running and I broke and dislocated my shoulder, but I sustained a brachial plexus injury. I stretched my muscles, my nerves.
Okay. And just so we have a bit of context, when was this?
This was 14 months ago.
14. Okay. Wow. Brilliant. And I would say brilliant a lot, so I do. It's just a tick. So uh so what was your next steps after that? What happened?
From falling, they obviously they reduced the dislocation.
Hmm.
And then they fixed, so I had fixation in my shoulder to primarily to give me stability in my shoulder to help with my rehabilitation. Um, at the time, they were not telling me too much, obviously, about the extent of my injury, but obviously they knew that it was a very serious injury, and by fixing the shoulder with plates, it kind of gave me that stability to enable me to, um, I suppose, start to rehabilitate quicker and let that, because the shoulder was one part where you broke, but obviously the nerves were completely damaged. So,
Okay. And so obviously you're talking to mostly physios here. So when was the first physio? When was your first physio session?
um, gosh, I think my first physio session was maybe like 10 days, a week to
10
10
days from.
days afterwards. Yeah, it was
Okay.
quite quick. Um, yeah, yeah, if you're going back 14 months, I mean, it was quite quick.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really just, I think, just an initial assessment um, to just sort of see me, see how I am, and kind of like have a little chat about kind of, I think, what was going to go on in the, in the future.
Have you had physio before that moment?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've had physio a
Okay.
lot. I used to be a runner, so had lots
Okay.
of physio in my time.
Perfect. But nothing for this like seriousness
No,
of it.
no, 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 nothing of this severity. No.
Okay. Okay. And what were your feelings? What were your emotions going into that first session, 14 days on?
Um, I was in extreme pain at that point, like pain like I've never experienced pain like that. So, I was in a bit of a fragile state, really.
Mm,
Um, she was lovely, the physiotherapist. She was, she was really caring and lovely, but
mm.
um, I didn't understand at that point. I do now. I didn't understand what brachial plexus was, and how long that takes to recover. And she did kind of like throw out there. I said, I'm quite positive. So how long then? And she's like, mm, I think the comment was 1 to 2 years, if ever. And you're like, what do you mean, if ever?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You're going to hold on to that.
Um, so that was a bit of a shock. But I am the type of person that will research and will never take no for an answer. So I went on that journey of discovery
Okay. So you went on that journey of discovery, but by yourself. Is that right?
by
So,
myself. Yeah, absolutely. By myself.
okay.
Yeah.
Was that a bit daunting? Like because
Um,
there's a lot to dive deep into the brachial plexus.
there is. Step by step, really. Try and get the pain under control with medication to start with. Um, and for me, I think coming from a sport background, I kind of really understood that your mind is a big thing. So um, I did mirror therapy. Even though I couldn't move my hand, I started with mirror therapy. I kind of, even when I was in hospital seeing the physio, I said, you know, what about TENS machine? Because I kind of knew, like, you know, I couldn't move my hand, but if I could get some signal to it, like maybe you could just, you know, like whether you keep it alive, generate, you know, just kind of keep it
Exactly. Yeah.
going, like. So yeah, so it was very much, you know, like just thinking, like, you know, to yourself, like, okay, because you've got that background as you know, with knowledge, albeit not professionally, but you're just trying to think, okay, like, you know, I can't move my hand, what can I do? And yeah, so TENS machine, I bought it early on. It's probably been my best friend, actually, this little TENS machine.
You still using it nowadays?
I am still using it now. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
bro.
Honestly,
Okay.
the best bit of kit I bought, actually. And ice. I did ice as well.
Hmm.
I got like an ice mitt. I did acupuncture as well. Literally within the first week, I was having acupuncture twice a week.
Interesting. And this is all from like, was this all like evidence-based in terms of from your own research that you
Yeah, so
did?
I was researching it. There's not a great deal out there, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, it's
Also,
quite
where to
difficult
look? Sorry.
where to look. You just, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, and you've only have one hand to be able to search things on your phone. So you know, you're literally you're in that much pain, and you literally got a hand that's not moving. You are really trying to, like, literally think about everything you can do. And then I tell you one thing that really helped, and as physiotherapists, I really would recommend you learning this. And I found it from looking at a video for plantar fasciitis, and it was compression. So
Right.
nobody talked to me about compression. And I was like, I wonder. So I literally went out to Boots and I just bought like an arthritis glove. And I had like a golf, I think it was a golf compression for my arm, because it was like my whole of my arm was, you know, in pain in my hand. And then I got a class, are they call them class 1 or class 2 compression? So I spent a lot of money on a mitt and a glove and a
Hmm.
sleeve compression. That helped the nerve
Mm.
pain. And
Okay.
nobody was telling me that. That really
Okay.
helped.
So, just to rewind a little bit, the physiotherapy sessions you were having, that was with the NHS.
That was with the NHS, but I also, early on, within the first 2 weeks, had a private one as well, because I have private medical.
Understand?
So I booked in to go to the private, to go through Bupa, but I also
Mhm.
paid for her to come to my house because I couldn't drive or anything, and I needed longer.
Yeah, okay. So it allowed the accessibility side of things as well.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
understand. So, so how long did you go with NHS for the whole duration of your treatment,
The
or
whole
was it like?
no, so I they were only seeing me every 6 weeks,
Hmm.
about every, yeah, sort of 5 6 weeks,
Hmm.
which for me is not long enough. You're going too long. Sorry, you're going too long. Um, I understand the that time frame, I suppose, because I have an injury that you can't do anything with. You know, I can barely lift. You know, I can't lift my arm. I can't do anything. So kind of, I do understand that, but I don't know. Like, I'm such a determined person. Like, I kind of would have liked to see them more, just for some reassurance. And I understand in the whole, you know, scheme of things, and with the NHS, that's very difficult. The one thing they did give me quite early on, fairly early on, like maybe within a couple of months, that I did hydrotherapy, and that was good. It was actually really good to get in the water, and it's probably actually after about 6 weeks to get in the water. It felt really, really good, on my arm, to the point that I went and joined a gym I had the pool there.
Brilliant.
um so that really helped. So that was one
Nice,
thing,
yeah.
and they gave me longer than I should have had. I was having it every week, and you meant to only have 4 sessions, and I think I
Okay,
got
brilliant. So,
six.
okay, that's really good to hear. So Did you so it feels like that you have some bit remorse with the NHS physio though, in terms of that level of care that you weren't quite receiving. Is that, am I catching that right?
Well, yes, in terms of you'd go there and they would just ask you the standard questions, like obviously I had a broken shoulder, yeah, and a dislocation. So how far can you hold your arms here? How far can you. So it's just those range of movements, how you lift it up. But and I would tell them what I was doing. So they were super impressed by the amount of work I was doing. But I
Outside of the
felt
sessions.
I felt that there was no they weren't like pushing me, like like maybe coming in every week and really getting in the gym with them, like standing there looking at the resistant band. Um, it was very like maybe tick boxing, I think.
Yeah.
No hands on at all, no hands on. Where my
Mhm.
private physio is all about hands on, like literally all of, and I did ask one of the last sessions I had with my particular physio, who I really loved, and I just said, like, can you just get into the back of my shoulder because it was so tight. And she was like, oh, I just wish I could really spend a lot longer with you. Like, and I think they really want to,
Yeah,
but
that's
they
good. Yeah.
they don't have the time.
Yeah.
Um, I
100%. Yeah.
then, yeah, and then I went to, she actually then went off sick, and then I went to the head of physio. And again, I said to her, like, what is your treatment plan for me? Like, I didn't feel there was a treatment plan. I felt like it was tick box. So it's like, okay, like I come here, it takes a lot of time out of my day, to come, to park, to get in to see you. Like,
And physical effort
I'm
for you
keen,
at that
yeah,
point as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm keen to come, but I need to know what is your plan for me? Like,
Hmm.
like how are we going to start to build the strength in my muscles and
Yeah.
etc. So I think she was a little bit shocked by that.
Seems like there's
Um,
a bit of a breakdown of communication throughout this whole process, really, like in terms of yourself going away and researching the whole injury from the first physio session. Yeah,
from the
and
first
not being
physio
guided in
session,
that way, things like that. Yeah.
that's what I think. I just think I didn't just break my shoulder. I didn't just dislocate my shoulder. I
Mm.
have a brachial plexus injury, which is really severe. Like, um, and I felt they didn't take the severity of that seriously.
And then even moving away from that, like that more physical injury, you got to look at the more mental side of things as well, and that psychological aspect of things.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, and the feeling of that wanting that hands-on approach, it really like plays into that. I
Yeah,
feel
exactly.
personally. So yeah, so it is interesting because so obviously I'm doing my master's in physiotherapy now, and in terms of we're being taught more in terms of that moving away from that hands off, but we're also taught that more evidence-based approach. And it's interesting because evidence is saying hands on isn't quite as effective as more what you what you say in terms of that tick box exercises or routine of doing those normal exercises. But yeah, for someone like yourself, it sounds like it's quite the opposite. So it's
I
definitely an
think,
interesting discussion.
I mean, I can't understand why a physio would not be hands-on. Not, because
Mm.
obviously you've got to feel things, but to actually, right now, like, we are obviously getting, I'm still away from being, I'm nowhere near being fully recovered, and getting that strength back in that shoulder. And that requires, Alice, my physio, literally, getting the arm into position and holding it and me resisting against it so she can feel it. She can feel where the catch is, like, I actually, Adam, dread to think where I would be right now if I hadn't have paid to have somebody come in hands on and really, really get into me. But then I have an injury that's very severe. I get it if you've just had a knee replacement and that patient has got to really want it for themselves and they've got to do the rehabilitation. But when you've got somebody with such a severe injury, it absolutely requires hands on.
I completely understand. So I'm just going to move. I could spend a lot longer talking about this injury with you. It's very interesting. But we're just going to move on to the questions that we have from our listeners, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So question one was, what experience in physio had the most impact on you? So that can be within the NHS or that private setting.
For me, it is the one-on-one I've got from my private physio. Um, she has mentally helped me,
Mhm.
because she explains the injury, what we're doing. You know, if I think, you know, we were literally at some point literally just having the tens machine on, and I was trying to hold a ball. I couldn't even hold a ball. You know, the tens machine's on there, and I am literally just trying to hold on to a ball while my hand is shaking. And you know, and I have videos going back. I think very important, and one thing I will say to you physios, because not everybody can follow text or a video online of somebody else. I would have my physio video me doing the exercises, telling me what to do, me doing it, and I can watch myself back doing it. It is vital, because not everybody
Interesting.
learns
Okay.
in that same way. Okay, you see somebody, you know, you've got your physio app and you've got the, not everyone works like that. See themselves, let them feel it, let them experience it. And we would do that. And you know, and just little things, you know, nerve flossing, you know, literally just trying to squeeze the ball. You know, I mean, gosh, you know, we're 14 months in now, you know, but even now, you know, I'm now trying to work on this part of my shoulder because my rotator cuff is stronger now, and now I still have pain to lift my arm. So now we've got to build the strength here, and it's that understanding that there is, like, you have to listen to your physio. The physio is the most important person, you know, in your recovery process. They know what you're doing, but explain that they've got to, you know, you can't rush into it. I would want to be fixed in minutes. Yeah, like, you know, I would, if I think if you took me back 14 months and saying 14 months, Charlotte, you are still not going to be recovered, I would be shocked. But it is that little gradual improvement, and you can't jump to fixing here before you fixed here. So listen to your physio, and they just want that, they do want the best for you. But you've got to put the work, you know, as a patient, you have to put the work in. It's so important.
Bro, just one final question. Has your injury changed your approach to your daily life?
Try not to fall. Be a
Yeah.
little bit careful.
Mm.
It hasn't changed, but it's scary that on a flip of a dice, you can be so massively injured. So it's so that's quite scary, really. That, you know, just one little fall can really change your life.
So that fear aspect that's going to be with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely. Still relive
So,
falling over.
yeah, no matter how much your physio,
Mm,
private or
yeah,
NHS might address it,
yeah,
that
mm,
you're aware of that outcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Real. Well, that's all we've got time for today. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been really, really insightful.
Thank you.
Real. So yeah, thank you very much, and maybe have you again soon.
Whenever you want me, I'm here. I can
Perfect.
talk
Cool.
about the brachial plexus all day.
Well, I hope the rest of your recovery goes well.
Thank you very
Real.
much, Adam.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.